Okay, looks like we're live on Facebook. That was quick this time.
Right.
Sometimes things for a bit. Well, hello everybody. My name's Anne Eugenio. I work in development and communications at Pacific Ballroom Dance. I'm with Alex Olivares here today. He's our adult program director, and we're having a PBD conversation on Facebook Live. This is our 6th one. It's a weekly series where we bring in one of our leaders in our programs at our studio, or a community, an invested community member, or a sponsor, or a board member, and we get to have a conversation about their work at PBD and their background and what they do. So this week we get to hear from Alex Olivares. I want you to think about if you have any questions for him and type them in underneath. Since we're using a Zoom interface, I won't be able to see them right away, but we'll be sure to answer the questions at the end. And you can always email me or Alex. And our email addresses are super easy. It's alex@pacificballroom.org or ann@pacificballroom.org. So you can contact us with any questions that you have. But this is it's fun because I've worked with Alex on Zoom more than anybody else at PBD. We've done 6 or more free workshops for adults and for anybody at home over the course of our quarantine time, and it's been so good to be able to offer that value to the community. He's done such a good job. But I would love Alex to introduce I want you to describe in your own words what you do at PBD.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for tuning in. My name is Alex Olivares. I am the adult program director here at PBD, and basically what I do is I try to take care of our adult students. I do a variety of things. One of the main things that I would say would be preparing the lineup for the group classes, so we have a good variety. I try my best to make sure that if you're learning cha-cha one day, the following class is not also another Latin dance. So pre-scheduling things in a way that you get a nice variety through the week. That's basically what I do. And of course, I have to plan in advance at the beginning of the week, the steps that we're going to be doing, and just kind of put all of that together. So that way I'm not running around right before the class trying to figure out what am I going to do today. I will say that typically in the classes, I do love to kind of read the room. So while I do have usually a plan for the week and we stick to the dance that we're going to be teaching, oftentimes I may throw in there a step that is maybe a little more advanced or perhaps a little bit more basic, depending on the people that we have attending. And so that's basically what I do. I just try to make sure that our adults are having a good time at the studio.
Yes, and you do such a good job. We only had a few months before we went into quarantine, and then you have adapted, and your skills at planning and preparing were really evident on the quality that you're able to give our virtual students.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's see. Tell us about your background. So kind of start like how you started with dance, what kind of a professional experience you've had. Just kind of give us a summary of how you got started and what your path.
So in comparison to many dancers, I actually started fairly late. I was introduced to ballroom dancing, I believe, back in my 20s. So I have about a little over 15 years of experience in ballroom dancing, and I have pretty much always been a teacher. I didn't go through the process of being a student. Well, we're all students, of course, I'm still learning, but I didn't go through the process of taking lessons just for myself and then decided that I wanted to teach. But a little before that, when I was in high school, I had a chance to enter a Latin program after school, in which they were introducing the students to most of the common Latin dances, such as merengue and salsa, things that you do in the clubs for fun. And so I went to some of those classes, and honestly, I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Within a couple months, I was assisting the professor a little bit here and there. And yeah, so I love the teaching side of things, and I love being able to help other people make progress, even if I didn't know that much myself. So that was fun.
How old were you? What high school was that? Was that in Texas? I don't know. Where did you two go?
In Texas, yes. That was in Houston, Texas. I moved from there not too long ago, about a year ago. And so I ended up moving to another high school, and they didn't have a dance program for that for my senior year. And so I asked the principal if I could start one. They gave me the okay. So I started a salsa program for maybe about 7 or 8 months there. And that's when I started to teach a little more. So that was my background initially. I wasn't really planning on dancing as a career. But then a couple years later, after I graduated from high school, I came across a newspaper ad that was basically looking for people that wanted to become dance instructors. And I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. That's something I would like to do. But I wasn't confident enough. I thought, well, I probably need to have experience. I probably need to know some ballroom. So I ended up cutting that little ad and put it somewhere in, in a cabinet, just hidden somewhere. And then probably about 2 months later, I saw the little ad again. And so I called the studio. And of course, this was 2 months later, so the program had ended at that point. But I called the studio and they asked me to come in. I went to meet the manager of the studio, and they were very friendly. But they said, we're not really running a program at the moment. So, why don't you give us a call back maybe a week or two for now? And I'm pretty sure they were just brushing me off because I called several times, right? And so being young and being very persistent, I said, well, they told me to call them a week for now. So let me call in a week for now. And I did. And then the following week, and I probably called them for about 5 weeks in a row. And they finally started another training class. I ended up finding out a couple months later, once we finished the training class, that they actually started that for me because I was so persistent. So, it's one of those things that it kind of, if you pursue it without really thinking about it, it becomes something. Yeah. And so that training class, we had about maybe 15 to 20 people. I can't recall the exact number, but within those people, my first dance partner was there. And so we started training together. And so that's how I started my ballroom career, just as, in a training class, like most of the other teachers that I know. But what was really fun for me was that at that studio, I was lucky enough that a 9-dance champion was teaching at that studio independently. And so when I first started dancing and once I committed to teaching, I was basically there from noon to about 10 p.m. every day, regardless of whether I was teaching or not. Oftentimes I had days that I had maybe 1 or 2 lessons because I was just getting started. So the way I used my free time was by practicing. And so I would be there practicing by myself or with my dance partner. And this US champion was there. And she's like, well, why don't you come in for a free lesson from time to time? I'll show you some basics. You're here anyway. I'm here anyway. And so I'm super grateful for her. She was instrumental for my training and to get me introduced to the world of ballroom dance. And so, yeah, I started taking lessons with her. And then at some point, after maybe a year or so, my dance partner and I, we were thinking, well, why don't we compete? We didn't know what that meant, but we wanted to compete. And so I think our coach got pretty excited about that, being that she was, competitive. And yeah, so we started our training career for competitions. And I think within a year, we went to our first competition, a local competition in Houston. And I loved it. I just loved the experience, the thrill of getting there, dressing up for it. And yeah, and so from there on, my training has been a bit of a variety of things. I've gotten training from many different people from many different places. Every time I travel, if there was some kind of champion in the area, I would make sure I stay an extra day and take lessons with them. I'm very much into growth, so I do love, whenever possible, taking classes. Even now that we're stuck at home, I took advantage of a lot of those online classes that my previous coaches were offering. And so, yeah, so that's kind of me in a tiny little box. It's just a lot of mixture of dancing, but basically I started like everyone else, just taking a couple of classes here and there, and I fell in love with dancing.
I love that story. There's some things I really like about it. First is that you were persistent to your goal, and also that you started out with a program at your high school. I think it's so important to introduce kids in the public school if we can to dance, because you never maybe would have been exposed or knew you liked it if you didn't have that. That's super cool. That's super cool. Well, that's so much fun. I loved hearing that story. And we're so glad that you moved to Washington. It's far away from Houston.
Yes, I love it here. Honestly, it's been quite a change, but it's lovely over here. A lot of people told me that it was going to be raining all the time and that winters are hard, and they are. But so far, it's been a pretty good move. I love PBD. And one of the things that mentioning high school and everything, I know you guys have dancing classrooms, and I think that that's wonderful. That's one of the things that really kind of brought me towards PBD, just knowing the sort of outreach that you guys do for kids. And now being a staff member, hearing those conversations that you guys have about how you want to move forward with your programs and how you're planning everything in detail for the kids. And even every week there's a team of, this is what we're going to do for the kids this week. And so there's truly a plan, and that's something that I love. And I would like to be able to carry that also into the adult program if possible. But anyways, I love what PBD does. So this is great.
Yeah, we definitely try to reach all the kids in all the ways that we can. And this is definitely creating opportunity for innovation, this circumstance. So the adult program has had some challenges. We've opened our studio up to the youth about a month ago, and now next week we're opening it up to adults.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yes, it's really exciting. So tell me, would you like to explain just what days of the week you'll be in the studio, and then what our students can expect when they come in for the first time?
Yes, so for all of our adult students, especially the ones that took classes before, if they took a look at our schedule for this upcoming month, things are a little different. We used to have classes from Monday through Friday and some social dances on Saturday. I did my best to schedule things in such a way that we're gonna be there hopefully when a lot of the kids are already on their way out, to avoid having too many people in the studio. So that's one of the things that we're doing. And also to have time to clean in between sessions. We want to make sure that the studio is nice and clean for everyone, nice and safe. And so currently the schedule, what we're going to have is 2 classes on Wednesday. We have a beginner class from 7:30 to 8:30. And this particular month is going to be cha-cha. That's going to be followed by our tango class from 7:30 to 8:30. So the 2 classes happen back to back. And then on Friday, what we're doing is what we call the single style dance. So every week we're going to be doing the same thing every month, really, on Friday. So the one at 7 is Latin social dances. So things that you would do if you go out clubbing, such as salsa, bachata, merengue. They're not, we do them in ballroom dancing, but they're not really ballroom dances, if you will. And then that's followed by West Coast swing. West Coast swing, it's like it's on animal. It has so much to it. So so Friday is basically salsa, maybe a little bachata and merengue, and then West Coast swing from 7 to 8, and then 8 to 9. That's 2 classes back to back. And then on Saturday, which this is new, we used to not have classes for the adults on Saturdays, but currently we cannot have social dances. So we're gonna use the time on Saturdays and have classes from 6:30 to 8:30, also back to back. And I believe this month we're doing samba, and I'm going to say foxtrot. And so that's kind of what we're having right now. In regards to what's changed during the class, we're having to limit the amount of people that come to the class. Basically before, if you came to the door, we will welcome you, come in, no problem. But now we have a cap. So we want to make sure we have a certain amount of people in the class so we can social distance. We're not planning on doing any rotation. I think if you come with your own partner, that's okay, but we're not going to change partners like we used to. So I think that's going to be the biggest change. Other than that, teaching should be very similar. For Friday in particular at 7 p.m. and Wednesday at 7:30, and I know this is a lot of information, but this is all on the website. We're doing hybrid classes because we know that some people are still not comfortable leaving their homes, and maybe they're not comfortable being so close to someone else and dancing with another person. So for those people that want to continue dancing from home, we're doing a hybrid option. And so basically what it is we're gonna have a computer set up, and we're gonna be using Zoom as well. And so while I'm teaching people in the studio, I will be able to also teach people from home. Now this is the first time I'll be doing that. So it's probably gonna take a little bit of adjustment to be able to give good quality instruction to the people that are there and also to the people from home. The nice thing is we are planning on having a teaching assistant to help me out. So that's gonna make a big difference. Some of the online classes I had to teach completely by myself. So that was an adjustment. And it's hard to explain how to lead or follow something if you don't have a way to really demonstrate what it looks like with a partner, like even a simple turn, right? But yeah, overall, we just want to welcome everyone back slowly, safely, and again, a few at a time. And I think if we have a demand for more classes, then we're likely going to add more classes. We just want to start a little slower. So that's the plan for now.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And I love that you're offering still a virtual option to tune in, because we're doing that with the youth as well. And we have a couple students that just participate virtually, and it's working out pretty well. It is taking a little bit of experimentation, but it can work. It can totally work.
And before I forget, I do want to mention the other thing that will be different is we are asking everyone to wear masks. I think we're all relatively used to it, but you know, just to help move farther along the faces, we just, you know, even if you're not dancing with someone, there's someone relatively close to you and you are dancing and exercising a little bit, right? So we are going to be requiring masks. I just wanted to mention that. So in case you come to the door and, you know, so just so you know.
Yeah, masks, and we have a few on hand. We'll be fine. And if any of you listening want to know more about our protocols for COVID-19, we have a tab on our website that has all of our detailed information about what we do to make sure everybody is safe. So you can check that out. And yes, that's good. And I did want to kind of mention also that we just posted today, this maybe yesterday, some videos of you at competition. So everybody should go look it out. Just scroll down on our feed. It's really great to see Alex dancing at competition. He's so good.
Yes, thank you. It brought back some memories. And, you know, dancing does some really amazing things for people. And that's one of the things that, how to put it, I'm a dancer, right? And also a teacher. And I love being able to combine both. And I find it that dancing oftentimes is not just about dancing, right? Someone might come in and they tell you, well, I want to learn how to dance the waltz. But in many cases, especially with adults, it takes a lot of courage to step out of your comfort zone and to walk into a studio and to say, I would like to learn a new skill, regardless of the reason, right? And the way I look at it is a dance lesson isn't always about dancing. It is about many things. I get to talk to adults quite often during our lessons, which is always a pleasure to find out about people. And sometimes they're coming to a lesson because maybe their relationship ended, right? Maybe they want to work out a little bit more. Maybe they want to add more flexibility. Maybe they want to gain a little more toning through their body. There are so many things to what dancing does, right? And I'm able to put myself in their shoes because both as a dancer and a teacher, I've been there at some point, right? I've gotten out of a lesson with someone and I just feel invigorated and determined to move forward. And also I feel like I don't know enough because I just finished this lesson and I just find out I've been doing my step wrong. And so yeah, so looking back at these videos, it brings back so many memories, and it's both, it makes me miss it more. So I'm excited to slowly get back to teaching, and also I'm planning on competing hopefully next year if competitions reopen. So yeah, so a lot of emotions come along with dancing. So that's where I was going with that. Yeah.
I love it. You know, dance can be a sort of therapy. I know that it's been really rough on the emotional lives of everybody being kind of quarantined and getting back into a dance class, moving our bodies. It does kind of, you know, help you work through difficult times for lots of different reasons. Yeah, and absolutely. So great to have such a warm face as yours to be at the studio for everybody. It's really good. And I also loved too that you're taking lessons online yourself. Like you're offering lessons, but you're also a student all the time. I think that really shows in the quality that you offer. So that's really.
Yeah, it helped actually. I found that, you know, it didn't cross my mind until I started to teach classes myself through the computer. And I thought, well, why don't I reach out to some of my coaches that I was working out with? And I found out they were doing classes. And while I may not be able to do partnering, especially as a professional, we can oftentimes focus so much on technique that, and I kid you not, we can take one step and break it into 8 counts on how to take one single itty bitty step, right? So that I find exciting for me, because then I can pass some of that knowledge on to my students. So yeah, I found that the online classes were great for me. It was a good reference point to see what other people were doing and what worked and what didn't work. I know we personally together experienced a little bit of problems sometimes with the sound, maybe the lighting, maybe we were too far, maybe the background was too busy. And these are things that, we just have to, is kind of trial and error. And so, yeah, so not only was that good for me physically, because I got up and moved, I improved my dancing a little bit, my knowledge, but also I'm hoping that it made me a little bit of a better digital teacher, if you will, virtual teacher. Yes.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt, it did. You did a great job. But I am excited for classes to start again.
Yes.
There's a lot of challenges. We're going to meet them. You're going to meet them. Before we go, I wanted to show everybody, I'm going to screen share and show everyone what the app looks like and how easy it is to register for classes. It'll only take like, a second or two. So looks like, I've just been blocked from sharing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a little video after this instead of screen sharing right now. There was
I know we had questions about that, and it'll be great if we can post something for adults just to have a better idea of the steps to take in order to enroll.
Yeah, and just download the Achieve app on Wellness Living and log in with your account. That's the easiest way. But I'll explain that more in another post. Okay, this is it. This is the end. Do you have any final advice or a tip or a bit of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Yes. I guess I would say, regardless whether it's dancing or anything else, and it may sound a little cliche, but I guess enjoy all the first. Again, looking back at that little clip, I had to get some of my old DVDs, and I actually came across my very first competition. That was it was great, but also a little cringy to watch. But I look back at my first lesson with my first coach. I look back at the first time I walked into a studio. I look back at the first time I competed, the first time I won an event, more so than anything else. And all those first, they're memories that cannot be replaced, right? So I would say enjoy the process, whether it's dancing or anything else, and truly enjoy the first of everything that you're doing, because that's really fantastic memories. That's
wonderful. I love it, because in order to have a first time anything, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Yeah. In order to, the first is always the most uncomfortable, usually, anyway. Thank you so much. All right.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been so good to talk to you. Remember, you can ask us questions, email us, and we'll look forward to seeing all of Alex's adult students, any that are comfortable,
yes,
either in the studio, and those that want to participate virtually, we'll see you virtually.
But so sign up. I don't want to put pressure on you guys, but if you do want to come to the studio, we do have a limit. So you're going to want to sign up for those classes, because they are filling up fairly quickly. Day one, I got a lot of emails about the classes. So if you're interested, come visit us. Again, we're doing our best to keep you safe. We're cleaning everything, and we're so excited to have you back.
All right. Well, thanks so much. All right. Bye, Alex.
All right,
bye, everybody.
Bye. Yeah.
Take care. See you later.
All right.